let's talk about, of course, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. So this is, of course, the second Sarah Michelle Gellar, Matthew Leonard, Freddie Prinze Jr., James Gunn, whatever you want to call them, Scooby-Doo movies that came out in 2004. And yeah, this is another great one. Of course, this film is about, like I said, Monsters Unleashed. Basically, this new villain of the film, this dude in a silver mask, is like, hey, I'm going to get revenge on Mr. Inc. I'm going to defame them, and of course, I'm going to take these old monster costumes and basically turn them into, my henchmen, basically. And that's what the title is referring to, is the idea that, all the old Scooby-Doo villains, I think most of them are actually from the cartoon, are now brought to life, and they are no longer men in masks, but are full-on real flesh and blood monsters. And that's sort of the premise, the gimmick of this film. And honestly, that is really cool. I think most of the visual effects hold up rather well when it comes to the monsters, and when it comes to Scooby himself. I do like that. I love the jokes. I do think that this film is a lot funnier, and it's just a lot better than the original. Unfortunately, I don't really like, and I think this is just sort of like, I'm not a big fan of Seth Green. So like him being in here is just kind of okay. Sure, Linda Cardellini is hot and has sort of has sort of helped my entire generation see Velma as like hot. There are countless women who cosplay, and I do love the cosplay community. There are an entire legion of women who cosplay as Daphne, or as female Shaggy and stuff like that. And of course you have or Velma, forgive me, is the one I was talking about. But there's legions of people my age who are specifically female, who cosplay as Velma, Daphne, or even female Shaggy in this film. And that's wise, because Linda Cardellini, it looked hot in that scene. And I get that, but I don't know, Seth Green, and I don't really like good old like Robot Chicken either, so like it's just sort of like an acquired taste thing, I guess, when it comes to Seth Green himself. And then of course you have Lisa Silverstone, who of course is the evil news reporter of this film. I'm not big on her either, but that might be more of a that might just be something from like Batman and Robin, because she's actually pretty good in this movie. So is Seth Green. My favorite thing I've ever seen Seth Green is of course probably the TMNT 2012, of course. But I think Seth Green's okay here. It's just that like I'm like not his biggest fan. But yeah, like there's some really funny jokes. Shaggy and Scooby in particular are great, and I especially love their sort of character arc of being like, oh, like, we're just the goofy idiots who ruin the others' plans, so we're gonna go and we're gonna try to solve this mystery, more proactively than the others, like, so we can feel more included. And like, I get that that's what they were going for, and I think that's a good character arc for them to go on. Ultimately, I think the resolution of that character arc is fairly similar to sort of something that Velma says in the first movie, but never really gets acted upon. So it is nice that they like sort of had that actually be, a thing that they have to go, like an actual character arc, compared to just something Velma says randomly in the first film when she's a floating head. She's like, you've always been my hero, Shaggy. Well, this is their like chance to prove that, like, yeah, they've always been like the reluctant heroes of the group. I think Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar also do a really good job. Like, I think the whole cast is especially just like better in this film, you know what I mean? And I think it like kind of helps that these people you know, they know what they're in. They're in a goofy kids movie, and they're just having like fun with it. And yeah, like I especially like and appreciate, you know, all that like entails when it comes to, oh, just making like, you know, something that will resonate with kids like 20 years later, now that they're adults. And yeah, this is like a really good movie. I really loved it. I do think that it is a bit better than the original. I think simply because the original sort of, I think, was being made with like an R rating in mind, and sort of things got cut out of it subsequently. And this movie, I think, obviously like knew that it was going to be PG from the offset, so that they basically made it like a tighter movie because of that. And of course, James Gunn is, I still think, a very talented writer. Even if I do have some problems with the films that have now made him famous, I still think he's a very talented writer. And it's just sort of insane to think that he started off making Scooby-Doo movies. And this is definitely the best thing that director, the director of the Scooby-Doo movies, also directed the 2 Smurf movies from last decade. And I mean, the Smurf movies are okay. I haven't seen them in like a decade, but like I will say, Scooby-Doo is better than those movies. But yeah, comment below. Let me know, what did you think of Scooby-Doo 2? Would you love to see a Scooby-Doo 3 one day? I do think that I would love to see that, especially if James Gunn goes with his initial premise of like I said in the last review, the original premise of Scooby-Doo 3 was going to be they get called to a town that's haunted, and then they realize that, oh, the ghosts that are haunting the town aren't the monsters, the people are. I do think that's ultimately, and of course, Shaggy and Scooby would have to like deal with their own like prejudices. So like I do think that sounds like a cool idea for a Scooby-Doo movie. But I almost said, or maybe like a really good, like maybe aimed at a teenage audience Scooby-Doo TV show. But you know, who knows? I would love to see that. And yeah, so comment below, let me know what you think about all that kind of stuff. Remember that God made you special. He loves you very much. Hope you have a very lovely day. Hope you had a very lovely week, as always. God bless you all. Have a lovely day. Happy Halloween, Scooby-Doo, and I love you. God bless.